Lease term. I think all roads in 842 stem from lease term. This is one of the most foundational items you need to wrap your head around in order to start thinking through lease consideration, discount rate, all of those good things. The lease term starts with the non-cancellable period. Then you add in any periods covered by an option that the lessee is reasonably certain to exercise. Options to extend the lease and or terminate the lease. Any options that lease entails should be evaluated to determine if it's reasonably certain to be exercised or not. One thing about reasonably certain is this is a higher threshold than something very improbable. Of course, us accountants don't have a magic crystal ball to predict the future, and some of these options could be 10, 15, 20 years out, depending on the lease, and it could be quite challenging to determine if something is going to be exercised or not. Therefore, there are some factors that you can help leverage in order to make this determination. When you can look at asset-based factors, how hard is it to procure that asset? Is that asset an airplane that has a 10-year waiting list, or is it something that you could buy on Amazon? You can also look at contract-based factors. Is there a substantial penalty for not renewing? The higher the penalty, the more likely you are going to want to avoid incurring that penalty. But if it's fairly immaterial penalty, then you may not be swayed either way. Market-based factors is another item. Is the renewal rate lower or higher than the market? If it's significantly lower, well, then you may be encouraged to extend that lease versus the other way. And lastly, entity-based factors. How much time and money did your company take to integrate that asset into its normal operations? How integral is it to the overall success of the company? Is it a piece of manufacturing equipment that's used to generate all of the widgets that you sell? Or is it the coffee machine that the finance team uses, which is integral to their operations, but not integral to the overall company's manufacturing operations? So assuming the facts on this screen, what is the best estimate of lease term in years? If you have an annual rent of $100,000, the total lease period is 10 years. The non-cancelable is 5 because you have an option to terminate at 5 years. However, if you elect that option, the termination fee is a casual $1 million. Based on that information, what do you think is the most appropriate estimate of lease term? Sure enough, 10 years is it. And 10 years, of course, because that termination fee is like basically the cost of the entire lease itself. So of course, you're probably going to want to avoid that unless something catastrophic happens. But yes, 10 years is a great guess.